Wind energy is the fastest growing source of electricity in the world, with a global installed capacity of 35,467 megawatts in 2013. In the United States, at the end of September 2014, there were 62,300 megawatts of wind capacity operational, with more than 13,600 megawatts of new generating capacity under construction. Why is wind energy generation such a popular choice? Because harnessing energy from the wind and turning it into renewable electricity has many advantages. And although wind energy has a long history, dating back as far as 5000 BC, the technology has never been better or more cost-effective than it is right now. In fact, in recent months, many states have broken wind energy generation records, including Colorado, Texas, and Washington.
Let us know when you start. God, that's the most boring campus. Holy! So what is wind energy? Wind energy is used to describe the process by which wind is used to generate mechanical power or electricity. As you can see, wind turbines are used to convert the kinetic energy of the wind and air into mechanical power. This mechanical power can be used for specific tasks or as a generator that can convert this mechanical power into electricity to power homes, schools, businesses, and other such.
Today, Denmark is actually on target to provide 100% of their electricity using the wind by 2020. So that's only 2 years out. Now, Denmark is a very small population, so their electric demand is pretty low, but it's interesting to know that they're planning on providing that using renewable sources. The state in the US that gets the highest percentage of its power from wind is actually North Dakota at 37%. Iowa gets a close second at 33% of its power from the wind. California, by comparison, only gets 7% of its power from wind. However, you have to realize that power demand is directly proportional to the population. And the population of California is almost 10 times, almost exactly 10 times the population of Iowa. So that means that we're generating far more power here using the wind than they are in the state of Iowa. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, cool. All right, so how did we actually get started on this site? Early on, actually in 78, President Carter signed a bill into law requiring electric utilities to explore renewable sources of energy. And that was following the Arab oil embargo, a time when many people in the US felt our energy independence was at risk. And so Carter and the Congress were looking for a way to supplement our natural resources with renewable resources. That bill came with 4 years of very generous tax incentives. And it was those tax incentives that really spurred the development in this industry. We'll talk about some pieces of equipment that never really even generated very much power. But because of those tax incentives, they moved the ball down the court in a way that was important for the development of the industry. What was first tried on this site was a project of Southern California Edison. How many of you are Edison customers? Probably at home. Yeah. Okay. So Southern California Edison did their exploration on this parcel. This tower is 213 feet to the nacelle at the top of the tower. It ships from the factory in 3 segments. We'll be able to see the seams when we get up close. It sits on a foundation that requires 15 cement trucks to build the foundation. It's shaped a little bit like a Hershey's Kiss that's been put into the oven and it kind of flattens out. Okay, still has a little dimple on the top. That dimple is 14 feet in diameter. The bottom of this foundation is 100 feet in diameter. It's 22 feet deep. And as I say, it takes 15 cement trucks to build one foundation. The blades are 125 feet in length, so the rotor diameter is 250 feet. That's the same size as the wingspan of a 747 and the fuselage length of a 747. So if it helps you to visualize a 747 up here rotating, that's the scale that we're talking about. Now, that's not the biggest that we're going to see today. The biggest ones we're going to see actually are 262 feet, so another 50 feet higher than this tower, roughly, again, one section higher. And in that case, the blades are 144 feet in length, and there's a 12-foot diameter hub, and if you do the math quickly, you've got 144 plus 144 plus 12 is the length of a football field. So imagine an entire football field rotating on that face of that tower. This particular device, as I mentioned earlier, generates 1.5 megawatts. To help you with cost, the industry does an annual averaging of cost across the US. And cost is coming down, but right now it's between 1.5 and $2 million per single megawatt of power production capacity. So this being California, this being a 1.5 megawatt machine, I'm going to say conservatively this is a $3 million investment. Anemometers at several different altitudes, and it's set up to measure the
Generation of electricity by wind energy has a potential to reduce environmental impacts caused by use of fossil fuels to generate electricity because, unlike fossil fuels, wind energy does not generate atmospheric contaminants or thermal pollution, thus being attractive to many governments, organizations, and individuals. Others have focused on adverse environmental impacts of wind energy facilities, which include aesthetic and other impacts on humans and effects on ecosystems, including the killing of wildlife, especially birds and bats. Some environmental effects of wind energy facilities, especially those from transportation, roads to and from the plant site, and transmission, roads or clearings for transmission lines, are common to all electricity generating plants. Other effects, such as their aesthetic impacts, are specific to wind energy facilities.
Today I learned that California, specifically Palm Springs, has the most effective wind energy and is home to the best form of potential renewable source in California.
What I learned was that house cats cause more deaths to birds than wind turbines do. And also, to deter visitors from supporting wind turbines, they would put dead birds around the wind turbines.
Alright, Porkil, this is for you.